Heyo, you're tuning into Toasted Reddit, where I cook your time with some Reddit stories. Right now we've got dating advice, where the last story gets a bit heated in the front lines of immaturity and age discretion. Our first story is by Cortando Snob. How do men date younger girls? I matched with a 21, allegedly soon to be 22-year-old girl on Tinder, and even though I wasn't feeling it at all, my friends hyped me up and I figured why not? At least she looks my type. And it was everything I feared. The most boring date I've ever had, and if at least she had been one of the mature ones. Every sentence coming out of her mouth was a red flag, and that's when she actually has something to say. She's still in her party phase and doesn't have any hobbies or intelligent thoughts whatsoever. Nothing to share, no passions or anything really. We legit didn't connect a single time. She's not even good at flirting. Just as awkward as 90% of the dudes whining about their lack of social skills. And we couldn't make it better with alcohol because she has a weird schedule, so we met during the day. She's 21 out of a serious 4-year relationship. She claims, but they've broken up a dozen times, and she cheated on him 5 times in a single month at some point. And for some reason, it all sounded like reasonable information to share on a first date. I mean, I thank her for all the warnings, but Jesus friggin' Christ. So how do you do it? I always expected that I wouldn't connect with such a young girl, but she was even worse than expected. More immature, idiotic, boring, and clueless. Literally told me that she knows what she wants between 2 rants about how she's discovering herself after her relationship to figure out what she wants. At that point, I was just Pikachu shocked. For reference, I'm 30 and usually date older women, 32 to 38. Edit. Y'all seem to think that I'm being held at pew-pew point to go on multiple dates with her. Millions of people have been convinced by friends to go on a first date with someone they didn't think they would vibe with before. I don't intend to see her again. I'm seeing a 33-year-old woman tonight, and talking with her is already much better. And guys, I'ma let y'all know, I'm gonna let the comments speak for themselves because they are mint, in my opinion. And I absolutely agree with a lot of them, and I will let you know the ones I agree with. Absolutely, because I'm gonna be completely honest. Even though I'm not 21 or 22, I'm 18. I completely take offense with this post. I'ma be real with y'all. But let me get to the comments. And so the first one is sympathetic from If I Get High. As a woman, I have no clue, but when I was 18, I was with a 27-year-old man, and then I was at 20 with a 32-year-old. There was always this feeling in the air that they understood me more than I understood myself. I genuinely looked up to them. In retrospect, the 27-year-old was a guy living in his dad's spare bedroom and asked me to borrow $60 to go drinking with his friends. I can honestly say that I barely held any of my own opinions and was easily shut down agreeable. In my head, no matter what, I always felt they had to know better and be smarter than me. I would rarely talk in fear of saying something that would make them think I was dumb. It honestly stunted my personal growth, and I can't imagine that dating an 18 to 21-year-old, even a mature one, is fulfilling or interesting. I'm sure it's an ego boosting for someone who needs it though. Today, I'm a lot more interesting, successful, confident, and independent. I have opinions, aspirations, and goals that are to impress me, not someone else. I find actual good men have found me attractive. And I completely disagree with this one. Just because you were 18 or 20 at the time and you were dating men who were older than you, and because you weren't a mature child who knew what they were doing, a mature adult, let me get that clear. Just because you weren't a mature adult doesn't mean you can put in quotations even a mature one, because you were the immature one. That doesn't give you a right to claim who is and isn't mature at that age because you weren't mature. You can claim who isn't mature at that age range because they would act much like you did. But you weren't a mature 18 to 21-year-old, so that immediately means that you can't even claim what an 18 or 21-year-old mature person is. Now, another thing is, how is it that you can't imagine an older person dating an 18 to a 21-year-old who is, quote, even a mature one, as a fulfilling or interesting relationship. When the older person is dating the younger person, wouldn't you suspect that the older person would be a, quote, even mature one? And then decide to not date an 18 to 21-year-old because they're, quote unquote, not mature? What is this logic? All right, we're going to continue on to more comments because it just continues and continues. Someone then says, there are guys at your age that are immature, so they're on an even more of an emotional level with younger girls. There's also guys that only give a hoot about how hot she is, so the rest of the stuff you're complaining about won't really bother them. Just like there are women who will date the crappiest of dudes as long as they find them attractive. There's also a lot of people in general that are the way you describe her. While there are way more young people like that, it doesn't mean that there aren't any immature, idiotic, boring, and clueless people in your age bracket. To which then OP decides to strike a fire. Oh, I know that people can have flaws at any age, and some people don't learn from their experiences and mistakes, but it is still more common with kids who haven't lived. Anyway, I'm looking for an adult, so I'm definitely not gonna do that again. They're only good for hookups, in my opinion. And boy, howdy, let me tell ya, nobody liked that comment, and I'm absolutely in agreement. And you know what? I'm not even someone who typically claims a misogynistic person, but I have to say, you only look at young girls as only good for hookups? I'm sorry, is that not misogynistic? That is very misogynistic. That is very incorrect. That is very mean for no reason. And, first of all, you were dating just for hookups? Like, what? Let me ask, how are you on dating advice when you are asking about how do you date younger girls when you're only there to hook up with the younger girls? You have conflating points of views here. Alright, continuing on to the people who disagree. This is coming from a 22-year-old. Your post sounds very immature. I'm surprised such a wise old man your age gets peer pressured into a date with someone they aren't actually into who is 21, finds out on said date that this is a crappy person and then gets upset and goes on Reddit complaining about 21-year-olds as if this single experience encompasses every person out there. That comment gets a lot of thank yous. To which then Opie comes back and says, peer pressured? It wasn't a dare. I usually just hook up with them, but she wasn't into that, and my friends simply told me that I could give it a shot. No consequences was to come out of this lamau except for wasting a bit of my time. Bruh, you're gonna waste your time anyways because you're going... Look, in my opinion, the hookup culture is very stupid because why would you waste your time and money going to just have S with someone who you don't truly care about when you could just use your hand for like 5 minutes and then go back to making money or living a proper life? Okay, continuing on. You sound very immature for misunderstanding the whole post and showing how little you know about life, but it's not unusual for your age, typical 22-year-old. And then Yunkin comes in with the smackdown. I'm 22, and I was with you for the first paragraph, but with you insulting all 22-year-olds, it really does reinforce you sounding immature. And then before we go back to the Leitha smackdown, someone underneath their comment then says, I'm gonna be real with you, you sound butthurt, and it appears you took this post personally because unironically isn't at all surprising due to your age. This is the god honest truth. Like, oh my goodness, tell me you're a pompous prick without telling me you're a pompous prick. Like, what is the point of saying this is the god honest truth when you could just say I'm just being honest? Why do you have to add in the God honest truth? Just say you're honest, period, end of statement. But no, you had to lay the smackdown on that comment and be like, oh, this is the God honest truth. Like, why? What is the purpose? But then Yukino comes back on the bottom and says, what's wrong with being butthurt? Am I not allowed to feel this way for all other 22-year-olds in the world? Is it not the same as if he said, how do men date black women? Is it not prejudice and discrimination? Plus, I literally said I agreed with him until he started insulting me, which is just a simple and exquisite retort to their comment. But let us continue on with the Leitha smackdown from everyone disagreeing with his whole entire only good for hookup culture stuff. And then down below from Scalarsis, we have someone turning him over, bending him down the knee, and smacking him on the bosom. You are the immature one here, trying to go on a date with a 21-year-old, admitting it was just because you wanted S. Then coming here to complain because the conversation was bad? Lol, why are you complaining about the conversation when you are really just upset she wouldn't fridge you? I usually hook up with them, but she wasn't into that. Stop being an immature 30-year-old trying to fridge college girls. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, I like Reddit today. I like the Leatha smackdown that is happening here. It actually makes it brings joy to my soul that such dumbassery is being called out and brought into the light, because this is just a dumb behavior, saying all 18 to 21-year-olds are only good for hookup culture. Yeah, alright, except you're looking for the hookup culture. Anywho, there are some more comments, of course. From Gucci 2 times, they say, you had experience with one young person. Calm down, big guy. Yeah, the only thing that bothers me about this post is generalizing about younger people. This woman might have sucked, and she might still suck in 10 years, but that isn't attached to her age. Many, if not most, men and women in their early 20s are capable of having hobbies and interest in intellectual conversation. The age gap is often still real for them in other ways, like being less settled and financially secure, but not all 21-year-olds are immature cheating a-holes. Exactly, and you give them some leeway because they are younger. I'm not making excuses for this man to date younger women. Most men who do date younger women don't do so for the intellectually stimulating conversation, but that doesn't mean younger people are devoid of intelligence. I feel these age gap relationships are more of a reflection on the older participant anyway. And I could not agree more. This dude was looking for a hookup, and he, to be completely honest, I'm going to be honest, I think as hookups go, even though I disagree with it, this girl was hookup culture worthy, because she's definitely not relationship worthy, because she admits to cheating. That is just no bueno for a relationship. But OP went in for the expectation of a hookup, and then got butthurt over the fact that she didn't want to have S with him. And that is how I see it. And yeah, no, I agree with it being more of a reflection on the older participant, or OP in this case, because he's out looking for college girls to just have S with. And then he has the gall to say that our generation is more for hookup culture. Like, get out of here with that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. These comments make me feel so sad, because I'm 20 and have so many things going for me, yet everyone in the comments is saying we're all S-addicted, immature, and dumb kids. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I kind of want to start a movement, because this is oddly enough something that I see a lot of people do. You know, they immediately look at the younger generation and think that we're all just dumb blobs that have no opinions, no ideas, no nothing. We're just always TikTok brained, on TikTok, just watching content and all that stuff. Like, a lot of people think, like, look at us and think we're all just dumb people. Like, we're not. And first of all, you know what? I'm actually gonna try and start a movement. Go on to Toasted Ideas. I'm going to try and start like a movement or something, because this is just pointless. Like, why are we degrading the younger generation, which is my generation? Why are we degrading the younger generation when it is the younger generation that is going to be creating the generation to come before us? We shouldn't be degrading. We should be trying to uplift them to be something better than we currently are. Why are we trying to degrade younger people as just being hookup culture, or being dumb, immature, or S-addicted? Why are we trying to degrade the people who are creating those to come after us in such a terrible landscape as it currently goes? We should be uplifting people in my age group. I'm not saying all people in my age group are great. I'm not saying that at all. But at the same time, we shouldn't be degrading my group in specific, because we're the people who are going to be creating the successors of this land. We should be trying to figure out how to create better generations. We should be figuring out how to uplift people to be something smarter, something better, something wiser than people are. And yet we have completely failed as an entire society. We have Which, I mean, I agree with the whole entire TikTok crowd. Like, I think people who use TikTok are typically very short-term memory people that don't think a lot, in my opinion. But it's also just because I don't use TikTok, so I'm probably completely incorrect with that statement. But we should be trying to create a better generation instead of just trying to degrade them. You don't build something better by tearing it down. Does that make sense? Yeah, once again, go on to Toasted Ideas. I'm going to try, I want to try and do something here because I don't like this. We should be trying to build a better generation. Like, look at the world we currently have. Look at the world we currently have. If we do not try and turn the clock around and figure out how to build something better for the future, then things will continue to get worse and worse and worse. And it won't change. And it clearly won't because it hasn't. So we should be trying to do something better. Instead of just degrading my generation, we should instead rather be uplifting to try and teach them to become something better than our current selves. Like, why are we treating younger kids as hookup culture when it was your culture that created hookup culture? Anywho, I think that is just about all I have to say for this video. Yeah, anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed. Anyways, now, before I end this off, I'm gonna just let you know about my podcast, where I post the same old stuff just in a form where you can listen to while going to bed, doing homework, or just something to listen to while working. But whatever the occasion, it'll be there. But enough of that. That is just about it for those stories today. And if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to become a fellow bread bag. Though, aside from that, I post 2 new videos every day on YouTube, so I hope to see you next time toasting session. But until then, have a good one.